Hey, guys. Super duper happy from today's guest. Today we have the number one trader, Stephen Kalayjian. Stephen is a super duper trader for over than 40 years of experience. And today we are privileged to have him as our guest today on our show. So, Stefan, first of all, thank you for being our next guest on the
You're,
TradePod,
you're
and
very you're very
it's
welcome.
an
Thanks for having me.
absolute pleasure for us. And having such an experienced guest within our show, it's a thing that we have never done. And you're the one. 40 years of experience is like pretty wild. We have 20, but 40 is it's pretty extensive. So, please, before we start, say a few things about yourself.
Oh well, I just celebrated my 41st year in the industry, August 1st. I started in 1983, so I'm 41 years in the industry, and I have no regrets.
Say,
I love it. Every single day is a different day. I'm blessed beyond words. I've seen it all. In my 41 years, I've met some of the best of the best in the world with me. Some of the top traders and hedge fund managers, and So traded, proprietary my own money in a big prop firm. And now what I'm doing is I spent nearly 10 years of my life building proprietary software. I'm about to, automate it for AI and quantum computing and encapsulate all that. And um, I'm building a fintech platform for the masses so they can learn exactly what's between my two ears and what I've taught some of the top hedge fund managers using my software. And whether you're intraday trading, index futures, commodity futures, ETF stocks, Bitcoin, Forex, or financial futures, it doesn't make a difference. It's these patterns repeat themselves based upon the combination methodologies that I put together, based upon the whole combination series of how I incorporate. And I get it. Like there's over about 1 million people who can sit in front of a desktop and trade each and every day. So I want to automate this where people can get
insane.
signals to or trades or actually build a hedge fund potentially where individual investors can actually be part of. So every day is a different day. It's about returns. And generating high returns and generating the ability to produce money. So if you make $500 a day with me, it's $125,000 in a year. And a lot of people don't even have a problem making that with me. So it's all good. I have some people who are bigger, a lot of people who trade futures, new people who want to learn futures. So I cater to all the different various DNAs.
Our audience might be a little bit suspected within your interest of like providing them with your signals. Now, please let us start our discussion within the question of why would you give them your trading signal? Because initially, this is your IP, this is what you have worked
I don't
on
give them. They
40
don't.
years,
They don't get
40
my
years.
code. They don't get my code because I believe at this stage of my life that I want to give back, and I'm tired of all the nonsense and the crap in the industry. Like I said, I've seen it all, and I'm just tired of the all the people out there that pretend. And I'm here to help change people's lives. So that's what I really like to do, and I have a pretty big audience, and I hope to grow it to numbers that I hope I can achieve. And I think that, with that being said, there's nothing greater at the end of the day when my phone blows up and I have people thanking me, you know? So, that to me is something that I feel like a reward that comes over me. And I feel that it's all predicated on taking the time to learn, to listen, ask questions, and understand my software, because everything I do is based upon visualization and repetition. And so for that reason, and I can, I've been jumping up and down where, I've been basically saying that patterns repeat themselves over and over again. And
That's interesting. I would like to ask you a question. Like, there are so many people said like I don't know, the markets are changing, and every 4 years, on average, like you have a market cycle change, and there is a complexity where, most of the traders, let's go for 95, 96, 97% of the traders don't really realize how the market stays sustainable over time. What do I want to ask you is how do you maintain your competitive edge over 41 years of experience? Like, let's say that 10 years, like your first 10 years was completely like, testing and checking if you done well. But how do you preserve like your competitive advantage in the market for
Well,
so many years?
yeah. So, well, basically, I took the same approach from the game of I was a big avid baseball player, and so I took the game of baseball into trading. The same rules apply, right? My five
What do
rules.
you mean?
Well, my five rules: consistency, discipline, confidence, patience, and passion. Right. So I have five rules, right? And I apply that into the world of trading, right? And so even when I was building my software, I came to the understanding that the market has a DNA, right? And just like I, as a baseball player, had a DNA, and if I knew a pitcher on the pitching mound, he had a DNA, and I would know that pitcher. If a new pitcher came in, I would do the scouting report on that pitcher. But the point is that it's really important that when if you're going to day trade the market, why do most day traders fail? Because one, they're gambling. Two, in my opinion, two, they have small accounts. Three, they do out of the money or in the money calls. And they're not really having the right technology or the right mentor. So those 4 or 5 things really puts them to a disadvantage, right? You have someone like me who's traded nearly 2 billion shares in his life, right? You have a person that can't even tell you how many futures contracts or, billions of dollars of Forex and, et cetera. And I'm teaching the software. I'm alerting people based upon what I'm seeing, identifying the patterns, and telling people I would look to buy here based upon this pattern. I would look to sell here.
How would you plan to educate them?
I'm actually educating them on the strategies and the patterns, and I'm teaching them to do what?
It's more consistency. Like you tell them, all right, this is what I see right now, and over time they're supposed to have like the intelligence of David Kalayjian over like in their backhand.
Yeah, but I'm teaching people where eventually people are just trading on their own, because I actually offer them my software, and they actually, people have gotten some of them have gotten so damn good that they're actually calling the pattern out before I even, hey Steve, we just got a buy correlation, looked to buy the pullback. I would, yep, things like that. So I mean, it's a big community, and I feel that, learning from someone like myself with 41 years experience, I'm only going to teach them, what I know. And like I said, I've taught what I've known and what my research has shown to me to some of the top hedge fund managers in the world.
What is like your top lesson that you have learned and embraced over the years within trading? Because
Talk a little
you know,
louder. I can't hear you.
again,
I can't hear you. Can you talk a little louder?
yeah, of course. What is the biggest lesson that you have learned and preserved over the years? Because like, you know,
It's
Mar
consistency.
most of the people don't make themselves as successful traders in the market. And there is a
Well, I
reason why
mean,
they don't make themselves
you're asking me a question. So the number one word is consistency, and you got to be consistent, right? You can't make $500 on a Monday, lose 1,000 on a Tuesday, make 100 on a Wednesday, right? Lose 500 on a Thursday, and then lose 100 on a Friday. You just lost $1,000,
So how do
right?
you preserve your consistency within the markets?
Yeah, you want to be in the green every day. When you hit your goals, you stop, and then when you achieve your goals to a certain period, then you up it. That's what I
Uh-huh.
did. I up my goals all the time, and then sometimes I blew right through my goals, and then I would say, okay, I'm up way, 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 way past my goals, and so then I would just say, okay, I'm going to risk this, and I'm going to go home with that. God forbid, and I end up making more money, thank God. So for me, I've been very blessed in this industry. It's an industry that you have to be like zero focus. You have to know what you're looking at. When you're, if you're in a position and it goes against you based upon whatever, you got to learn to cut your losses. I mean, I can't tell you how many people make so many mistakes. They trade without stop orders, and they'll just keep buying, and then
I
and
think
they
there is a
call it
misunderstanding within the traders who try to trade the markets and they don't know what they're trading actually, and they don't know how
Oh,
to
that's
take
what they
care of
come to
the
me
company.
for. That's why I am very, very strict. I'm very, very hard. I take this game very seriously, And for me, it's really predicated on understanding the individual, where they are when I talk to them. Are you a beginner? Are you a novice? How many years experience? Oh, I trade stocks. But I want to learn futures. I want to trade stocks and get better. I mean, I can go on how many different types of requests people come to me on. I want to trade Bitcoin. Does your software work on Bitcoin? I want to trade options, but at the money calls and puts on positions. And I tell them what kind of patterns to look for. Or you can, like today, we had a great long on NVIDIA, ran like $3. Coinbase ran 6. MSTR ran like 5.5. You could have bought the at the money 130 calls, and if the MSTR runs $6, well, it's going to participate, right? If I had a big buy in the S&Ps today at below oh 02, boom, they got down to 01.5 and they ripped. Next thing that 13, 14, 15, 20, boom. So it doesn't make a difference. Trading to me, okay, is and I'm very humble to say this, becomes very natural to me, right? And so when you're trading, you have to be loosey goosey. You have to be very you have to be no emotion. You have to be loose. You have to know what you're seeing. And if you're unsure, then you pause and then that's it. Then you wait for something that it's like anything else. Like if you're driving in a car and you're driving and the light's green, then it goes yellow, right? You slow down, right? Or you come to like slowing down period, then the light turns red, you stop. So you visualize, you know exactly what to do at that red light, correct? Okay. So
Mhm.
it's no different than if you were to go from red to yellow to green, okay, and then you proceed. So you're identifying a pattern, you're identifying a signal. So that's what I try to teach. And I try to teach people the
Or you
find.
identify a behavior, like a unique behavior, because we speak to a lot of traders like within our startup or within our podcast or within our any interventions within the market, and we get along with super successful traders each and every single day, and what I realized within my perspective that all of them like commonly over the years created a behavior that it's properly unique to their characteristic as a trader, which I think come in a perfect congruence with their capabilities as a human. Um, don't you think that like your behavior in the markets will be adaptable to some other traders?
It
Or
does. I mean, I teach everybody. I've taught some of the biggest guys in the world who had to adjust based upon my teachings.
yeah, but if your teaching will be properly prepared for myself as a trader, or for I don't know, a guy from Spain, or a guy from the US, or
Doesn't
a guy
make a difference as long as you can
from
speak
France.
English and I can communicate with you and I teach you. And if you have the resources and the knowledge and the time to learn, then it's not a problem.
So it's like who you model.
It's a
And
what?
after you model, like you behave your own understanding of the market.
No, this is like going to Harvard and Oxford twice, right? So you have
Mhm.
to learn from me. You have to get my software. You have to learn the combination theories that I produce, the combination methodologies, then using the multiple time frames, why when this happens, then this applies. It's all rule based, right? So when today, for example, I got buy reversals on Coinbase on the diamonds, the DIA, the MSTR. I got buys on IWMs. And then there was a pattern. And that pattern was like, oh my God, all in type pattern, right? I knew that pattern. And then everything, Coinbase ran 6, MSTR ran 6, Russell ran 2, Dow ran another 300, 400. So everything is rule based, right? So if you live your life by certain goals and rules, you'll be okay. If you're going to be reckless and abandoned, then you're not.
Yeah, obviously. So I would like to ask you this. Over time, what is your biggest lesson from the market, and how do you embrace that within your trading so you can remain consistent and remain profitable?
Well, it's all discipline. It's all discipline, right? So you have to know when you're wrong, get out, preservation of capital, and you have to just be able to be in it to the point that, when you hit your goals and then you stop and you want to preserve your capital. You want to preserve your wins. You want to preserve your ability to come back the next day.
If preserving the ability to come back the next day and to play the game to and the
Right.
next day.
This to me is a
This
game.
is this is difficult, but most of them are not capable of like carrying or taking care of their losses. So, discipline is a
This,
nice thing
this is
to.
why they haven't met a guy like me, and this is why I told you 90% of all day traders fail because they don't know what they're doing. They're not educated. So,
But
you know,
obviously, you can take care of the 90%. How do
I
you, what do you suggest to the traders that will help them to take care of their own trading business? Like, what is your lesson? Because, taking care of
they have to
90%.
learn from me. I'm not just gonna I'm gonna take someone who doesn't know what they're doing or needs help with something, and I'm gonna really educate them to my ability, to the knowledge I have, and to the information I'm gonna provide with them. Everybody's manageable. It's just the willingness to learn and the time put in. That's all. If I jump up and down like a baboon and I tell somebody blah 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 for an hour, and I do that again for the next 4 or 5 days, blah 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 blah, and then a week later, they don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. This is a waste of time. They really didn't take the time to learn or listen.
So
One
how
of the
do you
greatest
start
stories.
educating them?
What?
How do you start the education process?
I stream every day from 9 to 4, live stream. People
Live
have,
streaming
yeah,
you
I stream
as a
really
trader
well.
trading and making money.
Yeah, live people. I stream every day from 9 to 4 Eastern Standard Time, United States. I'm in over 100 countries around the world. People listen to me. People focus on what they trade. It could be index futures. It could be any of the things I mentioned earlier. And they trade options on the stocks on the underlying, or they actually trade. A lot of people have some big accounts where they're trading the stock. So on it's all predicated on having, knowing the person and knowing what they want. If somebody wants to trade options, well, I'm not going to go and say, okay, Microsoft, because I'm too busy. I got 50 screens going here or whatever, 48. I'm not going to say, okay, look at Microsoft, the weekly, the 410 calls. No, I'm saying Microsoft is a buy here within this range. I'd be looking to buy. I'd be scaling into the position. Here's your stop. You want to trade options, go to your matrix and look at your options that you want. Okay, whether you want the weeklies, and they're priced every whatever, 50 cents or something like that, depending on the stock.
I have like an idea. I have like an idea. Would it be possible to like arrange boot camp? And I'm doing it here publicly on the podcast to arrange a boot camp of 1,500 traders to 3 to 4 days full education boot camp for trading directly from you, Stefan. Would it be a good platform for you to start the education process, like to do all the remediations to get like to get the right people that understand what you're talking about within like your software and everything else, and that way we can like build a community.
Well, you're going to build a community based upon results, right? So you want people, well, I mean, I got to talk about, I stream all day long. It'd be hard for me to get on a plane to go somewhere for 4 days, but it could be done. You really want to teach this during live markets though. I mean, I just can't pick all this up and then take this with me. I see everything like that happen. Everything's moving around. So I'm
Yeah,
able to.
for those who listen and don't see our conversation in video, Stephen is being surrounded by 40 to 50 screens. How many?
Yeah,
How many
I
there
don't
are?
know. 1, 2, 3, I don't know, but 30, up to 40, 45.
Accountable.
But the thing is that this is for me because I'm providing information to the world. This is not for everybody, right? I don't expect everybody to have 40, 50 screens.
Use you?
And I'm actually building I'm building an AI quantum computing system that's going to allow this to spit things out like that for me. Okay, on all the different stocks and currencies and whatever. But what I'm doing here is I'm able to talk to big hedge funds, individual in my community. I'm able to see things that I'm providing them so much based upon the God-given ability that I have all this information in front of me. And I can see things like that, right? And that means that they can move the needle. If they're short, they can cover. If they're long, they can add, they can, whatever. If there's points of reversals, I can tell them, okay? So it's all predicated on the ability to see the markets, provide the information, provide the learning curve, and being able to provide the insight that most people can't see.
I get it. Let me ask you this. Would you be able to provide us with one of your day trading understanding of strategy or something to the crowd so like they will be able to take
You got to have my software. It's just not me saying blah 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 blah. Like even some of the top guys I talk to, it goes over their head, right? So you gotta have the software up. You got to explain things. So basically, there are 5 conditions in the market based upon my research. There's a trend like we saw today, a buy reversal, a sell reversal, a correlation, which we saw today, and a disconnect. Of the 5 conditions, each of
What do you mean? What do you mean by saying correlation? What a correlation really means?
Well, I was going to get there. Okay, so of the 5 conditions, there are 10 strategies, a buy and a sell divergence. So you have 5 conditions and 10 strategies. A correlation, based upon the way I have my correlation set up, are when multiple time frames align and or when the underlying ETFs align with the continuous contracts or vice versa. So there's different various sums. There are various different ways of correlations to evolve. This is not, you're not going to get this all within the next 10 minutes. This is something that is, it needs to be taught. And I do this all day long from 9 to 4. So people understand it and people identify it and people see it. It's all pure mathematics, but the way I wrote it, it's all visual.
Mm-hmm. And like in terms of finding correlation, like within the top trader stocks, what do you look at that correlates between like your understanding of where the stock goes within the day of trading and what ETFs you look at a reference so you can understand like the correlation.
Oh, I said correlations can be based upon multiple time frames aligning, or it could be based upon like today, for example, I had buys on the 15, 30 and hourly charts on the underlying ETF, the spiders, which is the exchange traded S&P 500 basket, and the ETF. So I had a buy signal on the S&P and Nasdaq futures, which trades 23 hours in a day. The underlying ETFs I haven't set for real-time hours, so from 9:30 to 4. So when the math correlated on my algorithms on the S&P futures and Nasdaq futures, and it correlated with the underlying ETFs on that particular time frame and the bigger time frames, we bought every pullback. Boom, 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 trade it in and out, all the way up. So it was beautiful. It was a Picasso.
Online, like to me at least, it sounds really not complicated as we speak.
It's complicated if you've never seen my software. You're sitting in a room right now interviewing me and talking to me on your podcast, but it is complicated. But anything worth doing and putting your mind to it, but once I teach it to you, it does not become complicated.
I get it. And what do you think about the terms of the market itself? Like, how the market changes and evolves over time. Like, if you're a day trader, you need to be aware of like market macro changes or what the
No,
what
no, I don't. I don't look at that like that. I don't look at it like that. I know that out of 22 business days in a month, there are seven big calendar market moves at 8:30. You have unemployment, GDP, CPI, PPI, retail sales, durable goods, and home sales. So those seven are instrumental at 8:30 in the morning. They can set the tone for the day, like the PPI set the tone for the day today. PPI number came in better than expected, and the market liked it, thinking that inflation's coming down, the Fed's going to cut interest rates. Okay, tomorrow the CPI number comes out at 8:30, it could be higher than expected, and we could be down 100 handles, right? So you have to be you have to learn the market environment. You have to see, and everything I do is based upon mathematics, right? So everything I'm to do and everything I'm teaching and based upon visualization repetition is all predicated on the software I created.
What do you mean everything is like based on mathematics? How
Well, the
mathematics comes along with the market
I
itself?
do combination theories, and so combination theories using multiple time frames, using multiple indicators, and combined with the multiple time frames. So it's like I said, Alec, after it's not you're not going to get this right now. It just takes time to learn. But I'm trying to answer your questions and for your audience, and it's all predicated on really for people to be with me to learn. And probably in 4 to 6, I got a kid to start with me. I think Eric, he's been with me for like 5 days. He said, I got it. I'm getting this really big time. And that's great. Now, I don't know how much, maybe he's on 4 or 5 hours a day, but that's, in 20, 25 hours, I'm making an impact on him learning my software. And of course, I get hundreds of questions every day. Hey, and I don't give investment advice, but I just say, you know, is this a short? No. Okay. Why do you think this is short? This is not, to me, this is not a short, but why do you think it's a short? So I really engage in things like that.
I get it. So, for closing lesson for today's podcast, what would you tell to our audience and the future listeners of the podcast? What do you suggest them to start with if they're
It
beginners?
depends. I like to always talk to people. So I give out my phone number, 914-500-7484. And what I do is I interview you. Like if you came to me, Steve, I want to trade. I like futures. Okay. You're adamant you like futures. Where are you? A beginner? Where are you? Boom. I'm somewhere in the middle. Okay. I'm going to clean your brain. I'm going to teach you everything I know. How much time do you have in the day? Are you a full-time trader, part-time, quarter time? Are you going to school? You have a full-time job? Are you able to sit in front of a screen all day long? Are you able to listen to me and be on your phone and execute? There's so many different variables. But I figure it out like that once I talk to the person.
Really? All right. All right. So we'll try to get you with the most traders and the most interested people that are willing to learn from you as fast as possible within our audience. I think like that's the best thing that we
Let's
can
go,
ever do.
baby. Let's go. Pull the trigger. Let's go.
Let's pull the trigger. All right. So
Pull the
Stephen,
trigger.
um, I would like to thank you. It was an incredible experience talking to you. I believe that our traders and our listeners will be glad to start learning from you because like you're an idol, and when you're going to learn directly from the idol itself,
Just one minute.
um, you'll
Go
be
ahead.
able to make the right decisions and eventually be a successful trader. So Stephen, again, thank you. We appreciate your time, and I hope that the traders and the listeners and everyone will be happy and enjoy listening
Yeah,
our
like I said, I'd love to let's build a great something. Let's build something great together, and we can move on. And thank you for the opportunity. And I hope we knocked the ball out of the park, baby. Let's go. Let's do it.
let's
All
go.
right, man.
Let's
Be good, brother. Be good.
you too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.